Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video here on Marvel Strike Force. We are Monday afternoon, I guess, at this point here on MSF. We have another week of Battleworld. We have the RTA pass for Captain Britain kicking off today, and there's some things, though, with regards to Battleworld that I do want to let people know about that seems to be an issue or will become an issue if people haven't really realized it by now. I don't know really what is going on with this and whether or not there's any plans to fix this, or if it's a big oopsies by Scopely. I guess maybe we'll find out as the week goes on, because I don't know if they're going to actually respond to it regarding today. We'll find out, though. We'll talk. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you will soon. So let's boil this down. All right, and let's kick things off here with the Captain Britain Battle Pass. This is something that I had been waiting for, and let's count. So there's turkeys in here. If you're going to be buying this, let's see what's really in here, right? So there is some other Illuminati shards, it seems like, as well. What I'm interested, so let's try to keep track. So 10 on the paid pass. All right, let's scroll through. 10 on the pay pass. 20 on the pay pass. Still no free Captain Britain shards yet. Some more turkeys. 15, so that's 35 CB on the pay pass. 55 CB on the pay pass. 75 on the pay pass. Holy shit. And then the Ares, for some reason. And 20 free at the very end. Okay, so let's get this straight. We have 20 free. I think this is 100, right? So 75. I think I said 75. So 100 paid, 20 free. 120 paid, 20 free. Holy crap. That's garbage. And there's no red stars in sight. I thought there was going to maybe be some red stars in here, but it appears not. So take it for what it is. I'm not going to count every single other material that's in here. There's some turkeys in there, like the strike pass. 3,000-ish DPCs. Oh, I don't know if this is something that I'm going to buy or not. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below on that one. The lack of red stars is really disappointing. Not surprised, but I thought, I was holding out hope that maybe there would have been a 4 red Captain Britain on the RTA pass. And since there is not, I'm going to go out and assume that it's not going to be on the strike pass, because if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be on the RTA pass, because they did a 4 red zombie Iron Man previously, like last year when Juggernaut came out. So I guess I thought maybe that would happen again. Nope. Looks like you're going to have to buy it. So that's what it appears to be. Also, something else that I want to talk about before we get into Battleworld is the turkey store, because now the candy store is gone. Hopefully you spent all of that. And they updated the awakened ability stuff to 4 ability materials, same price. So it was 3,000 for 2, now it's 6,000 for 4. That means that you should be able to do this a little bit better. But let's put this into context. So we have 14 days of the turkey store, and now you're getting 4, which means you need to buy this 50 times, right? Yeah, 50 times 4 is 200. So you need to buy this 50 times. But, and I don't even need the calculator, honestly, but 14 times 3 natural refreshes is 42. So you're going to have to refresh this 8 more times to buy the strange passive in order to get the awakened in time, right? We don't know if they're going to extend the turkey store or anything like that. So if this is something I kind of do want, I actually, now that I got my Mephisto stuff done, I have been kind of buying this up now, but it does mean that I am going to have to refresh this a couple, what I said, 8 more times over the course of the next 2 weeks. I'm kind of already doing that anyways, but keep that in mind. If that's something that you're buying, then you're going to have to make sure that you're doing that, right? And so that's something to keep. I think that's all to talk about. But yeah, you do want to pick up and get that in time. We don't know if that's going away. Okay, let's move on to Battleworld now. So let's just start here in Battleworld right now. And so we just started my alliance, just started difficulty 4 this week. Now, I know there was a lot of complaints, at least in my DMs inbox in Discord, regarding about the separation between D3 and D4 and the 2.5 million. I'm going to be covering that more in a separate video rather than this one here today. because I think it's a bit more nuanced and some things to talk about with regards to the leaderboard split. For example, well, I mean, this isn't probably a good thing to look at because I don't know where the hell my ranking is at this point. But the alliance split between D3 and D4 seemed, I think, what it was posted in my Discord channel. I'm pretty sure it was something like five. I want to say 550. I think it was 550. The top 550 alliances did make it to difficulty 4, and everyone else did not. So it's essentially the top 2 to 3% of the player base that managed to get to D4, and my alt alliance, for example, is still in D3. But the math breakdown, we're going to be covering that in a separate video about why I believe that the bar is a bit high on that, in my opinion. What we need to talk about today, though, is difficulty 4 to difficulty 5. Now, you might have seen that on the thumbnail because it's interesting, right? Obtain 6.5 million VP on difficulty 4 to unlock. And I think I've done the math, and maybe I missed something, but I think it's impossible. Now, don't pay attention to this. Some people were looking at this, the 7.5 to get the frame and all that. That's on D5. So that's not getting to D5. That's the once you're on D5, you get 7.5 million, you get the frame. That's actually viable. Those numbers are possible to get. But the 6.5 on D4 to get to D5, that appears to be impossible. And while this is only going to affect, I guess, those top 550 alliances that made it to D4, including my own, I just wanted to let people know that for those eventually who do get to D4, this is going to be an issue if it doesn't get fixed, right? But let's take a look at what D4 has to offer for this week. Now, I have already cleared my Zone 1, and I got to say, it's still pretty easy. I actually use suboptimal characters for all of my original missions here. Like, I didn't even use Superior. Maybe I used like 1 or 2. Superior 6, I used like some Hive Mind when they wasn't even being asked for. Maybe in here I use Hive Mind instead of Spire Society because it still had the raid tag, so it was pretty easy to use. The missions. Also, what's interesting is I'm pretty sure when you're looking at this, these are not the enemies. Like that's not the power level that you're gonna get. This seems to be like the D0 difficulty, and they never really updated this. Like the visuals aren't updated on the different difficulties, which is kind of irritating as well. But the VPs have scaled up now. What's really important is you cleared these. The bonus missions makes up 41% of your total VP daily, and this is really important. Also, there is the Emma Frost orbs that are in now as well, on top of the Emma Frost passive awakened ability materials. So this is a pretty important distinction. Getting the full 144 is very hard to do, even with the most ardent alliances. At least mine, it always seems to be missing like 1 or 2 people, it would appear. But anyways, this scales up depending on your difficulty. So at D4, we're now getting, I believe at D3, this was 6, roughly around 6 of the passive awakened. Now it's 8, and then you get 4,500 fragments for the Emma Frost astral ore fragments. And this is daily, so that's not terrible, I suppose, right? Like at D4, this is 40 per week, and then, or I guess it's more if you get the maxed out version, and then the orbs as well isn't too shabby there. So just wanted to talk about that as far as your daily rewards go. Now, before we get into the actual points, some other things to note as well would be eventually when we get to the end of the week, and you get to actually, it should be Zone 5. Yeah, Zone 5, the Asgardian mission, where you typically require Odin. I think this is going to be, well, we'll find out, right? I think this is going to be almost impossible to clear. This one is. The elite missions are still pretty clearable, even with you don't need the full astral team yet to do the elite missions. I was able to do it with 3 Pegasus and then Doctor Strange and Moondragon. I was able to do a little bit of that, so I cleared the full thing and it wasn't a problem. The bonus mission for the Asgardian points, though, now has gone from 10,000 on D3 to 15,000 at D4, and I think that's where it's going to make a pretty big deal. But even with these numbers, it's still actually, this one actually does have the visuals correctly, which seems to be right. But the sad thing is that even with the 15,000 points times 24 members, it's still impossible to get to that 6.5 million. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. And then finally, when we get to Null at the very end on Saturday, at least we're going to have Shadow King, but it's not going to matter because we're not going to get to D5. But anyways, we've gone from 10,000 VPs to 15,000 VPs, but it's also 150 VP per 1%. So one full null kill will net you 30,000 VP. And now he's gone up from like, I don't know, what was it before? 400 and something million hit points to 861. So yeah, have fun with that. I think my alliance maybe made about 10 12 kills. I don't remember. It was a lot less, right, than D0. So I would expect maximum for my alliance, maybe like 5 kills at D4. I'm not sure. And so that's where I wanted to bring up this spreadsheet that I have for the math. And I did all this, right? And so basically, of course, I have a spreadsheet. And for difficulty 4, this spreadsheet over here, what's important really is the daily total. So if we zoom into the daily total, but like the VP times 24, so 24 members doing all the missions, you're going to get about 761,000 points maximum per zones 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this changes as zone 5. Also, I do want to kind of point out that zone 4, the elite missions are worth a lot of percentage, right? So you just do that divided by this, and it's actually, I said 41. I thought maybe it's 38%. This also does not include 37.9%. At least at D4, it's 37.9% of the total VP points. This does not include Spec Ops. Spec Ops in the grand scheme of things is worth absolutely nothing, in my opinion. It's like 20,000, 25,000 total if you max everything every single day, right? It's just because it doesn't scale with the difficulties, it's absolutely piss in terms of this max, and it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to any like score totals. And anyone who said that Spec Ops was going to matter for the leaderboard, it doesn't. Like the amount of damage that you do on null is what's going to separate the leaderboard at the end of the day. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the possibility of even getting to difficulty 5. So zone 5 is 1.121 million, because if you get the Asgardian Odin mission, times 24 is 360k. But then you add all this stuff up together, right? Like I said, 1 kill of null is 30,000 points. Hypothetically, let's just say 5 kills is 150, right? And so you add all of this up together. And so you get about 4.315 million points. That's with the Asgardian mission as well. Let's say everyone clears the Asgardian mission, which my alliance absolutely is not. And I should say I actually have a bonus of 5 kills because I changed that from something else. And so you can see how it's hugely lack. Where the hell is that 6.5 coming from? Right? And without the bonus Asgardian mission, it's a 3.95 million. You need like 40% more points in order to get that 6.5. Where is that 6.5 coming from? It's absolutely ridiculous. I am hoping that they kind of like they did a number oopsies and they had Decimal Dave put the wrong number, and or it was supposed to be what would be more realistic, 3.5 maybe, probably 3.5, 3.75. Like, because honestly, you shouldn't be expected to have Odin with your entire team, and even then, it doesn't really get you there. Like, maybe 4 million. If they really wanted to make it super difficult for you to get into, like 4 million. But 6.5, absolutely impossible. So I don't know what their plans for this was. What they're intending on adjusting it. If they adjust it, I don't know if they realize this like this. And this video is kind of there to help you kind of like help them understand what kind of problems that they made. I am Battleworld this week doesn't feel much different from last week, and that's a little bit of a concern. Like the missions, the combat missions are still pretty easy, and so maybe difficulty 5 is just through the roof, really hard. But if we ever even get there, and I'm kind of having the same feeling so far this week as I did last week, which is concerning as well. That it really hasn't changed the state of the game for me as far as Marvel Strike Force goes, and Battleworld hasn't really made much of a difference. Honestly, it hasn't moved the needle for me on my interest in this game, and having the constant issues with the game writ large is also another problem that I always have with this. So anyways, just something that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out. Good luck on Battleworld.